Hello. Um, I know this is coming to you extraordinarily late. Um, I almost didn't even do this tonight. Um, I kind of didn't even want to. I was supposed to be online doing this about 3.5 hours ago. I was going to come on about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I was going to do this. And there's been nothing but technical problems after technical problems after technical problems. So I almost just kind of opted out of it. I almost thought, I can't be bothered. Why is it 7:20? I'm actually coming at you at 7:20. This has been absolutely ridiculous. Can I change this? I'm changing it. Hopefully that's better. There's been nothing but issues tonight, issue after issue, and I'm frustrated. I was just internally angry for most of the night, just because every time I tried to do something, everything kept fighting against me, which is typical and par for the course. But just as you can tell, I broke down to get the Talk Studio again for one more month, and I got it because I wanted to test out a few things. A couple of things were driving me crazy, and the only way to figure it out is I thought I'll get one more month subscription. I'll try this out, and I think I actually got the full. It was an extra $1 to get the the whole Streamlab package, so I can do some extra things with Streamlab, see if I can figure something out there, and also you get the full Talk Studio, and they merge, they kind of work together. So I thought I'll try it, and I'll see. This has got to be this has kind of got to be worth it to me, though. I'm coming in here a little bit blind now because I was so frustrated earlier. It was the process of trying to sign in back into Talk Studio, and it wouldn't accept my password, which was built into it. Like, it should have just been the same password, and all of a sudden it says didn't want it. And then if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. So it was just a long process. And then the last time I did this, it saved everything, all my defaults that I had on this. And when I went back in, it didn't save it. I don't know. I think I had two separate accounts, I think is what happened. I had two different accounts, and I think I tried to go in on the wrong one. It affixes the email in there, though. So there was an issue with the email, and I had to reset the email, and then it didn't want to put in the payment information, etc. Anyways, I'm going on about this, and nobody cares. I haven't got anybody watching right now, anyways. But in case people watch on the replay, I uploaded a video earlier. That was the other thing too. I finished a video, and I uploaded it just to kind of. I did it almost kind of documentary style when I edited it together, just to kind of show what happened with the XP Pen tablet. Because I've got the new tablet set up, and it does work. It's working fine. There was a couple of scares here and there, and I ended the video on sort of a little bit of a cliffhanger. If you watch it, you'll see. But I'll see if maybe this actually comes through and works, and I'm going to set up maybe on the desk on the XP Pen, which is right there. I can't show it because I don't want to move the camera, but I think I'm going to set that up. I have opened YouTube just to check the quality of this, and it's still coming through. It's not coming through at is it affixed on it? It should be 1080p. There's something not right with this. If it's not, I'm gonna. That's very frustrating. I wonder if I would have to start and stop and restart it, and I really don't want to do that. What's really strange is that my background is coming through actually better than I am. That's like really super clear, which is good, I guess. My chair is broken too. That's the other problem, is that my desk chair, the back went out on it, which is why it just sort of shifted on me. It didn't break just now. It's been broken for a while, but if I lean a little too much, back will pop off it. It's very frustrating. I need to find out. It's showing that it's only broadcasting in 720. I don't like these kind of technical issues. And yet, it's too bad there was just people watching. Because it's showing on Talk Studio that is broadcasting out in 1080p. It should be in 1080p. Sorry. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know, but when I look on the YouTube site, it says it's 720. So if I forked over for this thing, I better be getting 1080p broadcast out there. So maybe I'll just quit Safari and I'll bring it up again. There might be something just keeping the. Whoops! Of course. There we go. I'm still having technical issues. This is why I don't keep these streams. I don't keep them up for very long, is because they just end up being kind of rambling, and I'm not prepared. I'm not ready for it. And so when it opens up and all these little problems happen, it's like every time I do this, it happens. So it's getting a little bit tiresome. And anyways, what have I got here? So I might open this up and we'll see. I guess now's a good time to try and work out some of the bugs, because then there'll be more later, I'm sure. But it's so aggravating that yeah. I started my free trial. Affinity. So I've been testing out Affinity. It says I'm supposed to activate my free trial, and I already have. But I got rid of Adobe. I'm not paying for Adobe. Good Lord. For basic Photoshop, Canadian is like $150 a year. And you can split that with somebody. But even then, it's like still like $75 a year. It's too much. And to keep doing that year after year. I mean, I get it. It's Adobe. It's the lead. The Photoshop has all the bells and whistles. Most of them I don't use for the most part anyways. So I heard about Affinity. It's Canadian. It's like $95 one shot. If you want the whole suite, which is Affinity Photo, which is basically Photoshop, but for Affinity. Affinity Designer, which is Illustrator. And another which is Affinity Publisher. You can build websites, you can make books, you can put things together. It's kind of like Pages for the Mac, just I think beefed up a bit more. It's an interesting program, but I don't know if I'd ever really use it that much, because I love Pages, but I hardly use it now. But I was looking at Affinity, and that package, but if you want to get all three, and that's also, you get the iPad versions as well, as $225 flat. These are flat rates. This is not yearly. If you want one program, it's $95 for the whole year. If you want just the iPhoto version, it's $25. What flat rate? Not for the year. Flat rate. Done. Even with upgrades, because now it's like Affinity 2, and all those upgrades are all apparently free. So at least so far, anyways. I don't know what's going to happen in the future if they do that. Keep doing that, but they are so far, any of the all the big upgrades have been completely free, and they're doing that because they want to compete with Adobe. So I got Affinity Photo. Actually, I think I got all three on the. You get a 30-day free trial, which is really nice because they didn't have a free trial for the longest time, and now they have that. So that's really fantastic. Let's see if this is any better yet. No, it's not. That looks terrible. It's still 720. And it's kind of jerky motion. I'm going to be eventually going to be setting up my new camera up here for this, so it's not. It won't be the Logitech webcam, but and I'm set up to do it on. Let me check something. Widescreen, advanced. I'm just checking the because Brio should be broadcasting at high def. Yeah, it's. He's HD. I don't know. Do not know why it's broadcasting. Maybe because I started on that by accident and I would have to stop and restart it. Maybe I might do that just to see. This will be the night to do it. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll go out and I'll come back. I know there was a long intro, but I might do that. I'll end the stream and I'll start it again because there's nobody watching. So I'll just list it as a part 2, and I'll just see. This is just because I want to test this out and make sure it's coming through properly. So the quality looks, sometimes it looks okay, sometimes it doesn't. Wow, it's very strange. Okay. Anyways, just quickly to finish up about Affinity Photo. I really like it. It was very tempting, but I'm deciding against it for now. 2 reasons. One is that between Clip Studio Paint and Photomator, or Pixelmator rather, Clip Studio Paint, Pixelmator. Also, I'm not even sure I'll get Photomator, but between those two, like I have about 3 or 4 art programs, and I can do everything. I can do everything I need to with those. All of the lettering. They're complete. I find that sometimes with having multiple programs, one will do one thing but lacks something else, and so it's nice. So having these multiple programs, I know if I'm short here, I can do something here and then merge it in later. So that's why I realized I didn't need to keep forking out for Photoshop when I can do everything else on other programs. So I can do everything I need to. As much as Affinity Photo looks really nice and is a very good program for the most part, I kind of don't need to spend that money on it maybe right now, maybe later. But there's another issue, though, that really irks me, and it's the way they're set up, and I don't think they're ever going to change it. Especially as an artist, and if you like using digital software for your art, you're used to most programs setting things up a certain way to when you're coloring line art, and that is you usually have your line drawing on the top and then your colors underneath, and it sort of comes from the old days of cell painting, kind of. Because in the old days of animation, when they used to be on acetate cell, you would flip it over. You'd ink on one side, and you'd flip it over, and the color would go underneath. So, and you had a whole team of people that you hired to do that. So when we came to do it digitally, to fill in color, of course, you've got the ink line on the top, so the color can kind of go underneath a little bit to make sure it fills in all the gaps. Affinity doesn't do that. And in most other programs like Photoshop, Clip Studio, even Pixelmator, you can set a what's it called? The ink level is I'm drawing a blank. This is my memory issues kicking it again. The word raster popped into my head. It has nothing to do with raster. It's like nothing to do with it. Reference. Sorry, it's a reference layer. all these programs set a reference layer so that if you use like a fill bucket for the color, you can go to the layer underneath, click the fill bucket on that, and it will still stay within the lines on the layer underneath. So you don't have to put it directly into the line drawing. And it does two things. One is it's non-destructive, it's non-invasive and non-destructive, so you can make changes easier without disrupting the line work if you have to. Also, the other issue is that if you zoom in very close, you will see sometimes that color never goes up against the black line, right? If you're putting the color in on the same line as the ink drawing, it leaves little pixels of white, and it's quite noticeable. If you put it on the layer underneath, you can push that out a little bit more underneath the ink line so that it fills that in and makes it look nice and solid. You don't have that little pixelated bit of white between the color and the ink line. The other thing too is if you want to add things like shading and light, shadow, and some effects, you can do that on layers underneath. And again, they're invasive. So if you add a shadow or something to it, and you come back later and you realize that doesn't look right or that doesn't work, you can just remove it. You don't have to go back and do something all over again. So having those layers is nice, but they're all worked underneath. I don't know how it works in Affinity because you're going over top. Apparently there is a way to do that. It looks very confusing and it throws me off and I don't like it. I think you can get away with it if you really want to force your way through it. I tried to set it up by taking the line drawing and duplicating it and putting it underneath, and then just coloring on that line drawing underneath. And see, there's a little fly around here. So I'll color I'll color the line drawing underneath. That way I don't have to make it a reference layer because you can't anyways. But it still wanted to do that. I was trying to set that up and it still wanted to put color over top. I'm like, please stop doing that. Because then if you try to, because you still get the little bits of white in between, right? Even though it's on a color layer above it. And when I tried to push that out, it goes over top of the line. And it's irritating as all hell. So I don't know why they set it up like that. It looks messy. It looks terrible. And considering I'm used to working with all other programs by doing it this way, but this one program is doing it that way, throws me completely off. So right now, unless they change that or do something better with it, I don't know. They need to change it. Just make a reference layer. Even Procreate does that. Just make a reference layer. So until they do that, it's a bit of a deal breaker. It messes me up to try and do any kind of color work like that. I don't like it. It's too bad because everything about that program is great. So I've been talking for almost 25 minutes. I'm going to give a short break. I'm going to stop completely. I'm going to come back. I'm going to see if it comes back full HD. And if not, I want to find out what's going on because I'm not happy. So I think it's just because I had it on the wrong setting and I changed it partway through. So let's find out. We're going to start. It'll have another little 30-second countdown. And I'll be back in about 2 minutes. So this is end of part 1.